Okay, I must have been either just a technical glitch or what we have is someone sniped the call. Now, that's something that as a community we should do something about. You know, this ability to snipe. I mean, Google Plus are hopeless on these scores. Right, back to business. So what's happened now, anyone who watches it, but I'm just sort of collecting information for myself. It's on my channel, so I can't be knocked off that easily. Not that I'm aware of. Anyway, what's happened in this hangout, the topic of me has come up. There's a guy called Phantom who's a decent human being, and he's basically defending my position, yet the bullying group don't hold that view. So we're just going to see what they've got to say. They just mentioned about the bullies or the gaslighters sending pizzas to our house, egging us. What else did they do? We get phone calls and basically a campaign of online bullying that gets a fair bit of airplay. Okay, so away we go.
Oh, only 6 times. That's okay then.
I just agree with that.
Abusers will justify their abuse by any
easily.
Oh, I'm not justifying it. I'm just stating what happened. That's not a
justification. It's going to end up in a mental home anyway, won't it? It don't matter that we drove.
Well, he was, yeah.
Now, this is where I'd love to have a debate with these guys. Quite happy to. But they frame it, and this is gaslighting, right? Pure and simple. They frame it in a very negative, derogatory way. You know, basically that you're in the nut house, that sort of comment comes out. What happened was there was a precursor event, and that was 12 months of bullying by these people in one form or another. And I just got up to frustration point, and that's the precursor event. Now, that definitely happened. We know that. The question mark is, does that sort of event, is that a trigger for a diagnosis of bipolar? So I was diagnosed bipolar. I stayed in mental health care for 19 days. You know, it was an experience of a lifetime, I guess. But it went okay. There was no major drama. And then on the other side of it, and so I'm medicated on lithium. There was a tribunal hearing because I appealed against the diagnosis, and I was allowed to go home. So I won the appeal. I beat the docs. And then I come home, and I wanted to still redress these inequities, you know, this bullying stuff. And got engrossed in it again, and ended up going back in again a second time. Same thing though, when I'm in there, I'm quite normal, and when I'm out and on this medication, well, even without the medication, I think I'll be fine, but I'm not game enough to test that because I'm not a doctor. But I'm quite mellow, you know, I'm self-managed, I don't have any dramas, I can talk rationally. I can get frustrated with people. I'm probably better at handling frustration now than I ever was. Oh, pardon me. But these guys frame certain behaviours that are not based on any evidence. And the behaviours don't even exist. And I made a couple of mistakes, but I can explain exactly why I did them and why, and I did them for the right reasons. Just certain things you can't broadcast to people because otherwise it becomes a null and void test.
Yes, because Rob has mental issues.
Yeah.
So he says Rob has mental issues. Well, yes, I've been diagnosed with bipolar. Now, if you know anything about that, and when people are medicated and the medications are right, so I'm assuming you're right. I disagree myself, but let's assume that you're right. It's a bipolar situation, highs and lows. If anyone's observed me, particularly in this cycle of visits with you folks, I don't go high and I don't go low. I'm not depressed by what you say, and I'm not overly drawn in by your bullshit. And I think that should be evident by just looking at the videos. And the other thing is, Chaz is not a doctor. He's not in a position to make a judgment call. He can make an assertion based on behavioural evidence. He gets to say, Rob was crazy this night, or Rob did this, or Rob did that. Fine, that's fine. But then at least do me the justice to allow me to explain what you observed. Okay, let's go.
So that's okay then, isn't it? It's like, oh, well, he was going to jump off the cliff anyway.
Oh, yeah, this is...
I just pushed him.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a valid point that he raises. You know, the guy's unwell. That's their position. They're saying the guy's unwell. Well, then why don't you leave him alone? They'll assert that I go into, you know, chase after them. But if you'll notice anything this time, I'm becoming quite aware of proper ways to deal. I don't get into a room with these people. I simply make a commentary against what they say. If I go into a room with them, the egoic behaviour is such that you won't get a word in. It's too hard a battle. I've tried all that crap. So I simply just run a commentary under the thing. If they've got nothing, if they're honest and things are well for them, or they've got a concern with what I say, make your own video and put your own comment out, and I'll respond to that. Or just ignore me. Simple. I mean, if you ignore me, I've got no interest in staying here with you dudes, other than justice. I'll just move on and find some people to debate with on things that I'm interested in. All right, let's go.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You just said he was going to end up in a mental home anyway. Yes,
Tag. Please let me speak. Right, we've all got over Rob Beasley being what happened to
Oh, we have.
hang on a minute, Phantom. Let me speak,
Well,
please.
who's we?
Hold
Hold on a
on.
second, Phantom. Let her talk.
Hold on, please. Listen.
The Phantom is trying to raise a very valid point to Amy, and that point is we, right? We, the bullying cartel, right? Group has gathered, formed a consensus based on some key players. Sydney's one of them. He's a lead player in the gaslighting. So he's guilty of that. So is Down Corner, Bulldog 101. And Amy's siding with that group, meaning she's a minion of theirs, if you like. Just like the other minions and they form the bullying cartel. So that's all Tom's trying to do, but they want to block that voice. They don't want that message getting out.
I was involved in it. Hold on. I was never involved in any of that.
Now she makes a comment, that's actually a flat out lie, and that's part of the profile. Like I remember Amy from, I don't know how far back, but it's certainly a year ago. I just got to dig up the videos to prove that.
Oh, for God's sake, man. Hold on. Can you let me? Wasn't involved in it. Speak. I wasn't involved in any of the Rob Beasley stuff last year. Not.
Yes, she was. She came along to a couple of the hangouts, and I think I might have to just do some research before I comment on that. But she was definitely there. So that's a flat out lie.
Oh, I'd never. Until the guy started sending me explicit messages last October, explicit messages saying, Amy, let me see your tits.
Maybe, I don't know, but I can explain that. I don't remember, but if she's got, she'll have those messages, or at least what she should have done is reported me. But, you know, maybe she didn't, who knows? But anyway, that's for Amy to answer. I can't remember sending messages, but, you know, it's possible. Who knows?
This was private messages he was sending me. And I was like, who the fuck is he? Then I went on Hangouts and I found out exactly. I was like quite confused at the first, thinking.
Actually, where that doesn't make sense is that I'm pretty clear on this, I think. I never went around hunting to get people. I was just dealing with the bully pack. So picking someone out of a random, that doesn't sound like me at all. Absolutely not at all.
What the fuck's going on? Then I saw and I was thinking, oh my God, everybody's bullying him. But when I kept watching and watching and watching, I thought, oh my God, the guy is nuts. And
now, what Amy's done there is said the guy is nuts. So that's her assessment. I mean, people are quite welcome to the thing. But it's not something that she should broadcast without really knowing. Or at least if she's going to broadcast that, oh, hello, viewer, looks like I'll get kicked out again, will I? She should qualify it. One of the problems that you get, a big problem, huge problem on the internet, is people broadcasting an opinion without giving their evidence to back up their position.
He fucking was, right? Now, he's back a year and a bit later, and he's back as bad as ever. He's a fucking nutcase.
No, I'm not.
He is.
Cool, isn't it?
No, come on, right, hold on, Phantom. I think you're one of the last people who should talk about Beasley, because you weren't there during the first round of Beasley. You weren't there at what kicked off the first round with Beasley. So you really don't know what you're talking about. Rob Beasley is a dickhead towards people. Everybody knows that. There is several fucking videos. In fact, go and watch my fucking channel, mate. There are fucking 2-3 hour long fucking hangouts on there where we go through all of the shit that he did. Yeah? What happened to Rob Beasley? With Rob Beasley, he says something stupid. You tell him why it's stupid.
Yes, but what he does, and this is typical of Chaz, he never gives evidence for his position. Or rather, no, that's not true. He does give evidence for his position, but he's not able to refute my position. And he won't go there.
And he acts condescending and a dickhead. He rubbed everybody in the community up the wrong way. Everyone had their own issues with them. And everyone took the piss out of him for being such a cunt.
Now, the important point there, what he's saying is that, and he's making an admission here, he's saying everyone took the piss out of him for being a whatever. So there's an admission there that people were, in fact, bullying him. That's what happens when you actually, you know, you get folks into the right situation, you know, where there's lies involved. The more you elevate or, you know, hold the mirror up or whatever, or we'll get them all fired up. So in this case, Chaz is getting fired up. They start to make slips in their summaries, right? So he's saying he's basically projecting that Rob's not bullying, but in his own words, he says they all started taking the piss out of Rob. Well, taking the piss, bullying, whatever, same thing. Ganged up on me.
And you know what happened? He then tried to make out that everybody was all colluding just to pick on him.
Well, it's true.
And it was utter fucking bollocks.
Not everybody bullied him.
And that's actually true. Not everybody did. And that's the other thing too. What Chaz is trying to do is frame as the, you know, it's the world against Rob Beasley. But that's not the truth. I did have, you know, people that I could, you know, talk to quite rationally and have good discussions. I had some good discussions on the internet. But they were people that were interested in learning, and you know, these guys liked taking the piss out of people for fun.
Not right.
There was even dedicated fucking groups. There was even dedicated fucking groups where you could sign up to find out which hangout he was in. Come on.
So it was organised. Yeah. You know, Chaz is trying to say, you know, it's just people being normal when they come across a dickhead. But again, too, he's broadcasting and he's not giving any evidence. Oh, sorry, that's incorrect. He does give some stuff on his channel. So I'll go across. Oh, heavens forbid. I'll go across and see if I can find those channels, and I'll make them part of this the Gaslight Chronicles. I'll be here forever.
I mean, this is like you. This is what you cunts do, innit? It's like you'll have a group.
Now, it's a good point. It's a good point there. What happens? What happens? There are other examples. It's just not me, of these people and these behaviours.
Hold on.
What
the fuck do I do, fans?
Whether it's 10, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, the amount of people involved doesn't matter. But what you cunts do, you gaslight people. What you do.
There it is. There's that word, gaslighting. Something that should be stomped out.
You'll get 5, 10, 15 of you, and you will stalk and harass people. And then when they claim they're being...
Who is this you? Who is this you we're talking about? You're talking about me? You're talking about me? I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question, Tom. Are you talking about me in that?
Will not let me get this out, will you? You are living proof.
I'm not living proof, mate. I'm asking you to stand up for your thing and say that you're making these actions.
Now, this is common, right? A really common phenomenon. What Phantom's done, he's speaking actually quite accurately. And Chaz is part of it. He did, and by his own admission, you know, he said taking the piss out of him. So, you know, they were all doing that. So it was a collective effort. So my cartel story. Hello, viewer number 2. My cartel story is correct by his own admission. Tom's just reiterating that. But the ego in Chaswold fires up. What? You're labelling me as part of this campaign? Are you talking about me? He doesn't give a shit about anyone else. You know, he's not there to defend his colleagues, whether it be Bulldog or Sydney or what's his name, Down Corner. Doesn't give a shit about his colleagues, part of the group that he's running, or the pack that he's running with. He's only really worried about himself, and he wants to make sure that his name is purged and that he comes off as a clean skin. But the problem is he does gaslight. There's no question about that, and there's plenty of proof for that. Gaslighting again is telling a story about a reality that's not the truth. Well, hello, viewer number 2.
Accusations at me.
I know, because they see that what we're doing.
No, I'm saying you're making false accusations of people, and you need to fucking stop it, Tom.
I'm making observations from what I...
Yeah, what should happen here is you should back it up. But the trouble is when you get into that scenario, you know, it's a long-running debate, and it just can be very frustrating.
Well, your fucking observations are wrong, mate, and you need to fucking keep them to yourself.
No, they're not. They're actually quite accurate.
Don't go around slandering people, or I'll call you out on all your fucking bollocks. The fact is, there is plenty fucking bollocks to call out on your end, dickhead.
When I put it in print,
full of shit.
So again, as we saw with Amy earlier, or on the other tape, what we've got is we've got a situation where Chaz is the agitated one, Phantom is the calm, right? And I promise you, the people that get agitated, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be them that's telling the lies. It's an early warning sign, you know, when someone arcs up, and it relates to the self-survival mechanism and the flight-fight response. So he's now in fight mode. His identity is been, you know, looped in, and so he's responding. This is his fight pattern. If you had good evidence against him, you'd see that graduate into a flight pattern. He'd scream and yell and that, and he'd eventually run away. But unfortunately, Phantom's not well prepared, so he's going to perhaps bluff his way through it.
Fuck's sake. Even the Tempest fucking jealous.
See, Phantom understands this mechanism, so that's why he has a bit of a laugh at it.
Pisses me off, man. It's all this negative fucking energy creating drama where there is none. The problem is, people like Rob Beasley actually came to the fucking internet with something to say. He even wrote a book. He had that much to say. He wrote a book about it.
Now, Sydney just chimed in then, making fun of that. But that's actually a true statement. I did write a book. I got bad reviews from apologists and an angry Facebook kid who never even read the book, and another dude who was rather odd, who'd been sort of stalking me, and all I tried to do with him was pin him down to, you know, talking about the material, but he wouldn't. And I think he was a Christian, and so I got these bad reviews, and that didn't sort of help the book at all. But you know, Phantom's correct, and I can talk to all of the material in that book because why? I wrote it, and I'm quite happy to. Quite happy for anyone to challenge the research. But guess what? No one will do that. They just simply won't. They avoid that particular effort. They'd rather have fun with you on the internet, you know, taking the piss, as Mr. Chaswold acknowledged.
What to do is to explain it with people. But what?
And Sydney's not read the book, or at least he's never came back and said, Rob, you said X, Y, Z in the book. It's wrong because of, you know, whatever. And I'd say, all right, better do a retraction. But I don't think you'll find it's too far wrong.
Yeah, whether you think it's bullshit or not, the guy had a purpose. What's everyone else's purpose other than to mock other people? That seems what the purpose of a lot of people is. Oh, let's just point and laugh at them. It's like the artist with the canvas again, isn't it? Let's all just mock what people make of their blank canvas. But then when it comes to their own blank canvas, it's football, isn't it?
Wouldn't comedy be an art form, though? Wouldn't comedy be an art form?
Gentlemen, I don't think that Rob Beasley should be the subject of a conversation in this hangout by virtue of the fact that he is unable to come in and defend himself. He's blocked. I have blocked him. He cannot come in and defend himself. So
why'd you do that, Sydney? Well, that's okay. I mean, that's a valid point. I don't have any grief with that. If you block me, no drama here. But he also makes the valid point that accusations are made and I can't defend myself. But I know Sydney only too well. I will defend myself. Not a problem in the world. But it'll have to be on my terms or it'll just never happen. And, you know, you can get on with your meager existences.
I don't think that he should be spoken about in any way in this hangout. Speak about it, you know, somewhere else maybe, but not in this hangout because it's unfair to Rob in more than one way.
Thank you, Sydney.
Number one, he can come in and defend himself. And number two, he is a person with a disability that we have no place making fun of.
Correct. But you're making an assumption that I have a disability that somehow affects my ability to function. I have been diagnosed bipolar. I am medicated. It has no apparent effect on my home life. My wife can attest to that. You can watch any videos that I'm involved in and try and find the symptoms of manic or depressive behaviors. But equally, you're not in a position to make a judgment call like saying he has a disability, because on the other side of the coin, we have a precursor event, and then I'm able to actually win a tribunal. So there are some mitigating factors. Okay, well done, Sydney. So let's see what else we've got. Now I'm just going to keep rolling until they kick me out again. Just gathering a little bit of information. Now I'm looking at Sydney's channel, right, and remember his comments that he's made back on, 3 or 4 days ago, and all of a sudden we start to see Sydney drawing starting to really lock in his focus on me. Oh, and that's because of me, because I created the videos in response to him reviewing the reviewer. And Sydney, not a lot of people get to watch these reviews. You know, it's only 50s and 27s and 40s and whatever. I'm using this as a vehicle to get my voice heard. That's my agenda. Let's see, there's an odd one in here with his funny face on it, so let's have a look.
Okay, I'm just checking position 1, close position 3. I think position 3 works better. I'd say position 3 certainly does look better. Show the video.
This is Sydney. Sydney, that hat and the glasses. It's a funny look, let me tell you. So what are you saying?
Well, you know, I'd like to appeal to all levels of the strata here. So you like what I do? You give me $250. But then, you know, what's $250 to some people? Okay, so you like what I do? You give me $500, $1,000, you know, whatever.
Holy hell, Sydney!
Here's the thing:
must be short of cash.
Like what I do, this is the kicker.
Don't watch it.
If you really don't like what I do, give me $1 million, and I'm gone. Okay. Now, before I carry on, I'd like to present,
I'd like to second that.
A reference. I mean, who am I to talk about myself? You know, I'm not really a braggart or anything. No. But I'd like to. I have a friend, internet friend, who has recorded his experiences with me, and I'd like to use him as a reference. Perhaps he will sway you one way or the other. I don't know. That's really up to him. So let me just swing out of here and introduce you to Patrick Fester, my friend Patrick Fester, who who has so kindly made a video for me. And I'd like to say, Patrick, thanks again. So yeah, why don't you just take it away?
Well, this is about something that's been going on in Google Hangouts.
Get off that smoke, Patrick.
In particular, there's this one person that I used to have a lot of respect for. I no longer have as much respect for this person.
Sydney's pulling some strange faces.
Ask an Atheist, aka Sydney Winston.
Yeah, I'm with you, Patrick.
Same thing.
Sydney,
Yes.
get a fucking life.
Yeah, I agree.
I no longer have the respect that I used to have for you. I don't know what your problem is with me.
He's a gaslighter, Patrick. Patrick.
But
What problem do I have with you?
to tell you the truth, I still have some respect for you. The things that you do in your, the things that you do on Google, trying to promote critical thinking and things like that. But whatever your problem with me is, you are misinformed. I no longer trust you.
Misinformed. Well,
You have become a fucking asshole.
Oh dear. Well said, Patrick.
no, I've always been one.
Either you cease and desist and realize that you're fucking being an asshole towards me, or maybe that you believe that you're doing the right thing. I don't know what it is, but
Now, there's a bit of background, or at least something I'm aware of. These gaslighters, when Patrick's mother passed away, rang him, did prank calls. Absolutely appalling.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Any examples?
Sydney Winston, ask an atheist. I used to have a lot of respect for you. I no longer have that same respect.
Well, obviously.
Goodbye, Sydney. Go fuck yourself.
And Patrick, I'm doing a promotional video. Anyway, folks, never mind about that. That was the best I could do for a reference. I think it's good enough.
Well, this is about something that's been going on in Google Hangouts.
What are you replaying it for?
Well, we don't want to hear it again
Yeah, that's right.
because I didn't really expect it to be so gushingly complimentary. Thank you very much. So yeah, I guess. Wow, that was. I'm almost devastated, really. I mean, who wouldn't be? It's horrible.
Yeah, couldn't give a shit.
Well, I guess we're at a point here where you might even agree with Patrick.
Yes, I do.
But the more you agree with Patrick, maybe the more you should give or donate. I'm just gonna, let me give you. There we go. Got Patrick, got me, Robert's Rules of Order. I'm out.
Out of this world. All right. That'll probably do it, I think. How's that work? 14 hours versus 1 day. Isn't 1 day 24 hours? I might just have a quick look at this and see what he's got to say for himself.
And the reason that they're fixated and captivated is because I stand up to bullies. I will not stand down. So,
Correct. He's gained weight by the look of it.
understanding, a deep, deep understanding of the work. A reviewer, on the other hand, may not, I'm not saying they don't, but may not have the same understanding. So they might miss key details. But let's see, let's roll the video.
What are you laughing at, Sydney?
And he's going to kick me off the internet because why? Oh, I'm not going
I'm not going to kick you off. She probably shouldn't have used that term. I'm just going to expose you as a fraud, right?
Fraud?
Because
Yes, fraud.
that's what you're doing. You're trying to expose me as a fraud when I don't think I am. I think I'll tell you what, I got a really strong story to tell.
Yeah, enough of that. All right. Thank you for dropping by. I got things to do.